Hey guys, Alex and Dad from 7th Hour Films back again with Doctor Who. Last time around was Victory of the Daleks. What was that one about?
Well, the Doctor and Amy are summoned by Winston Churchill. So they go right literally in the middle of the Blitz, which would have been, I guess, about 40 or 41. And apparently the Brits have invented a new weapon to take out Luftwaffe planes. I'll tell you a joke about the Luftwaffe planes later on. It's not safe for this. Anyway,
We got to make sure we're monetized today.
yeah.
Not that the BBC cares because they just take the money anyway. But go on.
Anyway, so it turns out the Ironsides are pre-Dalek Daleks, or so it seems.
They're the remnants of the Dalek forces during Journey's End.
But the Doctor recognizes them and forces them to accept him as the Doctor, and that's part of their plan to get some kind of regeneration pod going to build some new generation of Daleks.
Yeah, the progenitor needed basically Dalek authorization, but because they specifically were grown of Davros, they were not recognized as pure blood Daleks. If anything, I guess they were more Kala than Dalek. So what they needed was a testimony to prove that they were Daleks, so they basically angered the Doctor to say, I am the Doctor, you are the Daleks, and that was enough for the progenitor to work and create brand new, multicolored, pure Daleks. So,
but it turns out that the guy who supposedly had invented the Daleks as war machines was an android who was also a ticking time bomb, and the idea was the Daleks were going to force the Doctor to save the Earth or save Amy. Is that it?
Well, it was either save the Earth or destroy the Daleks. Oh. So he had to let them go in order to protect the Earth.
But then managed to convince the android that he was based on a human or was human, and that prevented the bomb from going off.
Yeah, so... but the Daleks got away. They won. Their plan fully succeeded. They're brand new, pure blood Daleks running around time and space now. So they won technically, and at the end, the Doctor was also commenting on how Amy should know who the Daleks are, considering they invaded not too long ago and stole the Earth and planets in the sky and all that. But she doesn't remember, and there's another ominous ending of they leave, and there's another crack in space and time. So that's pretty much where we left off. Today is a two-parter. So we're going to be doing both episodes back-to-back in this video. You're getting two for the price of one. And luckily, it shouldn't be as bad as the last time we did a two-parter, which was The End of Time, which was so long and took so long for me to edit, but I powered through it. And actually, I guess a little thing. I don't know how many people noticed it, but and you haven't noticed it because you haven't seen the video yet. But last episode, the actual reaction part of last episode was really short. Apparently, we didn't talk that much. It came out to about 8 minutes, which isn't nothing, but yeah, I don't know. I have said before, editing modern Doctor Who can be a bit harder than classic Doctor Who, because with classic Doctor Who, there's just more to do. Yeah. There's so much more. Like it all equals out over 4 or 5 episodes of classic Who. I will also just say that my motivation to edit Doctor Who, and I've said this for a while now, but my motivation to edit this show is just gone. I'm so terrible when it comes to editing this. Like, it'll take me the whole day, and it should not take me an entire day to edit Doctor Who. So, I don't know. And of course, this will be also be a problem once we get to Torchwood Season 3, which we're almost there. We're almost to there, and probably what we're going to do is we're just going to watch it like concurrently with Doctor Who. We'll just do whatever episode of Doctor Who that week, and then we'll also do like one episode of that season. So I know when I originally did it, I actually stopped Doctor Who, and I did 2 episodes of season 3 of Torchwood, and then the next 2 episodes, and then the final episode, and then did the next episode of Doctor Who. We're probably just not going to do that because I don't really want to interrupt the season. So, but we'll get there. I even bought a DVD of season 3 so that we have it. So, but we're almost there. We're almost to, and we'll also do a discussion video of season 2 of Torchwood, which is what everyone's going to want to see. Is us, bitching and moaning about Torchwood season 2. Because we'll get there when we get there. But today we have a 2-parter, so that's kind of it.
That's it.
So we might as well jump into it because we got a lot of work to do today. So
Time of Angels. So they're back, are they?
You don't know. It could be anything.
Could be new angels. Somehow I doubt it.
It could be anything.
Hallucinogenic lipstick. She's here.
Oh, that is a multi-purpose gun. Meanwhile...
Wrong. Amy, this isn't any old asteroid. It's the Delirium Archive, final resting place of the Headless Monks. The biggest museum ever.
Headless monks?
What do you mean?
The writing, the graffiti, old High Gallifreyan.
The lost language of the Time Lord.
What does this say?
Hello, sweetie.
She's back.
Yep. Knows how to send a message. Ooh. Nice timing.
Follow that ship.
That was a perfect landing, 12,000 years in the making.
We're losing them. Stay close.
I'm trying.
Use stabilizers.
I don't have stabilizers.
The blue switches.
Well, the blue ones don't do anything. They're just
Blue. Parked us right alongside.
parked us. You haven't landed.
Of course we've landed. I just landed her.
But it didn't make the noise.
What noise?
No, the...
It's not supposed to make that noise. You leave the brakes on.
Yeah. Well, it's a brilliant noise. I love that noise. Come along, Pond. Let's have a look.
Thousands of years he's left the brakes on.
Checks.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Quite right. Environment checks.
I stopped doing that a long time ago.
I thought we could fly the Tardis.
Oh, I had lessons from the very best.
Well, yeah.
It's a shame you were busy that day.
Right then.
Explain. Who is that? How did you do that museum thing?
It's a long story, and I don't know most of it. Off we go.
What are you doing?
Leaving. She's got
It's a long story, and he's only seen the ending.
Running away.
Okay. New brutalist architecture on top of an old medieval castle.
Well, I mean,
What caused
or
it
a
to
crash.
Oh.
Not me.
Doctor, can you sonic me? I need to boost the signal so we can use it as a beacon.
Doctor, you sonicked her.
We have a minute. This is the doctor.
Father Octavian, sir. Bishop, second class. 20 clerics at my command. The troops are already in...
Doctor, what do you know of the weeping angels?
The angel, as far as we know, is still trapped.
Moffat's bringing back all his greatest hits.
To get inside and neutralize. Behind the cliff face, there's a network of catacombs leading right up to the temple. We can blow through the face of the cliffs.
Catacombs,
Get
not
into the entrance
catacombs.
chamber, then work our way up.
Oh, good.
Good, sir.
Catacombs, probably dark ones. Dark catacombs, great.
Technically, I think it's called a maze of the dead.
You can stop anytime you like.
Father Octavian! Excuse me, sir.
The church militant. Back from the Middle Ages.
It's the final form of the Catholic Church.
Is Rufus song your wife? someone from your future. And the way she talks to you, I've never seen anyone do that. She's kind of like, you know, heel boy. She's Mrs. Doctor from the future, isn't she? Is she going to be your wife one day?
I don't know.
You're right. I am definitely Mr. Grumpy Face today.
He was already Mr. Grumpy Face last episode.
Years later, the planet was terraformed. Currently, there are 6 billion human colonists.
Ooh, you lot, you're everywhere. You're like rabbits. I'll never get done saving you.
Sir, if there is a clear and present danger to the local population...
Oh, there is. Bad as it gets. Bishop, lock and load.
Verger, how are we doing with those explosives? Dr. Song, with me.
2 minutes. Sweetie, I need you. Anybody need me? Nobody?
Go back to the TARDIS.
But you're just a recording. You can't move.
Well, I mean, so are we.
The man told you this is the most dangerous creature in the universe, and you stand there staring at it.
Doctor is coming out of the television. The angel is here.
Don't take your eyes off it. Keep looking.
It's like a movie, The Ring.
Well, no good. It's deadlock the whole system.
No, deadlock.
There is now.
Help me!
It made a deadlock.
Doctor!
Something moves a little bit faster. Don't even blink.
I'm not blinking. Have you ever tried not blinking?
Hold this. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, good job.
Stone angel on the loose amongst stone statues. A lot harder than I prayed for.
Needle in a haystack.
A needle that looks like hay, a hair-like needle of death, a hair-like needle of death, and a haystack of statues. No, yours is fine.
Say that again. 3 times.
Right. Check every single statue in this chamber. You know what you're looking for? Complete visual inspection. One question. How do we fight it?
We find it and hope.
Thanks.
In a British film called A Clockwork Orange, they forced the character played by Malcolm McDowell to watch movies of violence, and they had these little reverse pinchers, and they literally opened up his eyelids so that he couldn't blink, so he had to watch until he became desensitized to it. They should have something like that to prevent them from blinking.
No. They should have cameras that live stream this to billions of people who watch it. Also, I think that's just a little bit more than
You alright?
some morning crap.
So, what's a maze of the dead?
Oh, it's not as bad as it sounds. It's just a labyrinth with dead people buried in the walls. Okay. That was fairly bad.
Also, it's like France.
You need more than flashlights. You need to illuminate literally every corridor, every tunnel, so that there's no opportunity for the angels.
You need to bring some, like, fresh batteries, too.
Angelo!
Don't blink.
It would be very good if we could all remain calm in the presence of decor.
What's your name? Bob, sir. Oh, that's a great name. I love Bob.
It's a sacred name. We all have sacred names. They're given to us in the service of the church.
Sacred Bob. More like scared Bob now, eh?
Huh. Okay, Christian, I understand. Angelo, Italian for angel. And Bob. There are no Bobs in the Bible.
Is there a chance there's
Yeah.
something gonna collapse?
Don't even think there's a Robert in the Bible.
Up there.
Well, look, next Pope will be Pope Bob the First.
There's something, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, there's something wrong. Don't know what it is, yet either working on it. Of course, then they started having laws against self-marrying. I mean, what was that about? But that's the church for you. No offence.
Bishop. Quite a lot taken, if that's all right, Doctor. That way.
Church had a point if you think about it. The divorces must have been messy.
Oh, Bob. We hardly knew you.
Sacred Bob.
Tell me, how did you escape?
I didn't escape, sir. The angel killed me too.
Oh, well, at least you're honest.
It stripped my cerebral cortex from my body and reanimated a version of my consciousness to communicate with you. Sorry about the confusion.
Oh,
So
lovely.
you say you're on your way. You're an idiot. Sorry, but there's no way we could have rescued you.
I know that, sir. And when you've flown away in your little blue box, I'll explain that to their families.
That's assuming we get out of here at all.
Stay here with me, you'll have as good as killed them.
Amy Pond, you are magnificent, and I'm sorry.
It's okay. I understand. You've got to leave me.
Oh no, I'm not leaving you. Never. I'm sorry about this.
Ah.
See, not stone. Now run.
Let me!
Yeah, and you're alive.
God, I'm Mark! Look at my hand!
And you're alive. Did I mention?
Amy, your teeth! Have you got space teeth?
Yeah, alive. I want to say. I'm about to do something incredibly stupid and dangerous when I do. Jump.
Jump where?
Oh, just jump high as you can. Come on, leap of faith, Bishop, on my signal.
What signal?
What is it? Didn't anyone ever tell you there's one thing you never put in a trap if you're smart, if you value your continued existence, if you have any plans about seeing tomorrow, there's one thing you never ever put in a trap.
And what would that be, sir?
Me.
Jump! Oh. Next time, I mean, we'll watch it in like 5 minutes, but next time.
Okay. First of all, the idea that we're back to the church militant. I mean, this goes back to, the loose connections to the Spanish Inquisition, the Crusaders, Knights Templar, and all that sort of stuff. So that's an interesting theory that now they've all got modern helmets and guns. So it's interesting. I loved River Song when we saw her in Forest of the Dead and Library of the Dead and
Silence in the Library.
Silence in the Library.
Forest of the Dead.
Yeah, because it's very interesting that now she's met 2 previous incarnations of the Doctor before she actually meets the Doctor for the first time.
Yeah.
All right. Amy, again, probably the most resourceful of all of the companions that we've seen. I mean, going all the way back to Ian and Barbara, because she doesn't think like an ordinary human being. I mean, she is capable of accepting things. I guess Jamie did that a little bit, but she's capable of accepting things that other companions went, "Wait, what are you doing? I can't do that yet." But if whatever happens, she goes along with it. The doctor says you're not going to die. I'm going to fix you, and you can't. My hand is stone, and you bit me. And then, so that worked. Okay, I'm good. So it's a combination of Matt Smith's hyperactivity. I mean, he's literally like a 12-year-old, and her, and then River Song, who again very mysterious, got all this stuff that she's going on, and you've got the church militant, and then on top of that you've got the weeping angels.
Well, yeah.
So it's just it's again extremely well written. I like the fact that the dead Bob is trying to communicate with them, even though he's already dead. Yeah, it's like, it hurt a lot more than I expected it to. I mean, it's just interesting little insights like that.
Yeah. There was actually, in the library 2-parter, when River gets out the diary and is like, okay, so where are we in the timeline? She does reference the crash of the Byzantium. So,
I don't remember that.
Yeah. I mean, she says like a bunch of stuff of like different stories. I don't remember each one of them, but I think maybe the first one was the crash of the Byzantium. So, so this is another point. She obviously she has met the Doctor before, but he still doesn't know who she is fully. So yeah.
And this is obviously the River who did not die in the library, or did not go into the... I mean, this is a different point in her timeline, isn't it?
Yes, this is before she goes to the library. She has no idea that she dies at the library with the 10th Doctor. So that's the only thing, is that whereas before she knew their entire experience together and he knew nothing. Now they're both sort of inching closer to knowing equal. So he knows how she dies, but she doesn't know how their story ends. Okay. So, and there are still... I mean, they literally made spreadsheets. Like, they made a flow chart back in the day of how River connected with the Doctor. And so, I think at this point, this River song will continue to have a couple more adventures with the Doctor before going to the library. So, but she doesn't know how it all ends, and he does.
Now, if she is a Time Lord, she's at least Gallifreyan, we think. Hasn't she said that? She's at least Gallifreyan?
We don't know.
We don't know.
She knows old Gallifreyan language. That's what we established here.
Yeah.
So,
the reason I asked that is because theoretically, then, this could be her first incarnation, or it could be her 12th or 5th, whatever. So we don't know how many lives, how many different Dr. River songs there have been, just like we don't know how many Doctor Who's there have been.
Yeah, it's
wibbly wobbly and timey wimey.
It's the most complicated thing in the entirety of the Moffat era, and it only just gets more and more and more from here. Like, we're still kind of sitting on some big reveals about River Song that obviously I know. I know everything about it, and I'm sitting here watching this episode. I'm like, that's an interesting recontextualization of a couple of these scenes now that I know that. And it's like, that's interesting. I won't be able to talk about this for a while. Maybe like 6 months or so. It'll be a little while before we can talk about it. But yeah. Another fun fact about this episode, though, apart from everything about River, is that this is actually the first episode that they filmed for this season. So this is the first time that Matt Smith played the Doctor, and so he just walks into it completely naturally. So,
yeah, that's weird. I mean, because you can kind of see the progression of Amy's character. So it's odd that this is, what, the 3rd or 4th episode?
Yeah, this is episode 4.
So they're shooting out of sequence.
Yeah.
Again, that would have... I've been an actor for more than 50 years. That baffles me, though, how people can do that.
Yeah.
The only little mini-series that I did, we did 2 sequences, and they were out of sequence, but we filmed them on the same day. So the first sequence we filmed was in a little makeshift tavern. This would have been 1889 in Oklahoma. So we filmed the end of my character's story first, and then we shot that like 4 times, went and had lunch, and then we went out to the railroad track to film the first scene that I appear in, and we only took like two takes of that. But because those were the only 2 scenes that I was in, that was easy enough. But if you're doing a series like this where you're shooting the 4th episode before you film the first episode, I don't know how you would do that, because your character should be established in the first episode, so that
it's
how he would know how to play it in the 4th episode is kind of weird.
I mean, it's the thing of, like, beforehand they would have been thinking about how they want to characterize the Doctor, and I imagine the scripts were already done. So they just, I guess it must have just been, the location shooting for this one that they just had to get this in first. But it's so I would imagine at least they had read the previous episode's scripts, keeping everything in mind of how they want to play these characters. So yeah, this is also the first time that Karen Gillan is playing Amy Pond in this episode, the first time filming that. So, but yeah, it is a very strange thing, but they walk into it so naturally.
Yeah.
I think actually they were filming these while the David Tennant specials were airing, and David Tennant went on the Graham Norton show, and they were talking about how he was leaving the show at that point, and I think they had a production image of Matt Smith and Karen Gillan from this episode, because it was the first thing they filmed. They were just sitting like between scenes, and I think Graham Norton said something that's like, "Oh, they look like a younger version of you and Catherine Tate." So, and then they kept talking about Tennant leaving and wrapping up and everything. But yeah, this was the first one, and they pull it off very well, along with working with River so well, since that dynamic, it's weird to think about, but that dynamic is established with the 10th Doctor and how the two of them work off each other. And now you have to sort of adapt that to be with the 11th Doctor, despite the fact that the entire basis of that story is that she's more used to the 11th Doctor than the 10th Doctor. Yeah. So,
I had two questions. One is related and one really isn't. I wonder, did they film the museum scene in an actual museum? Because, I mean, because in the Dalek episode back in Eccleston, it's very hard to set up something that looks like a real museum, because there's got to be so much stuff in it.
Although I would at least say, because it seemed like they were just sort of in a church, so I wonder if they just sort of set up, just these little. That's why they were just very, very small displays. Yeah. But maybe it was a genuine museum, and they just had because I mean it's pretty easy. You just have to have stuff, historical stuff for him to point at and say that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, until eventually you just have to make one that looks almost identical and just put the ruined home box in it. Yeah. So,
and the second thing, right at the very beginning, the guy out on the open field with the hallucinogenic lipstick on his face, and then the next thing they're in a spaceship. So,
yeah,
was that a holosuite, or I mean, that doesn't really tie in that I can see.
It could be. I mean, the thing is that. Oh no, okay, because it's a lot to kind of infer about it. If I were to guess that he was a pilot or just a crew member aboard that ship, he was left in a field with the lipstick on. He was left there by River, who must have stolen, a key card or something, or a passcode to get anywhere she needed to on the ship. They went back to the ship. She found what she was looking for. She realized there was an angel there, and then put the message on the home box for the Doctor to find 12,000 years later, and with that would be the recording. So that was all part of it, was how she got aboard there. So
the other thing was, I'm wondering if him being in the field was the hallucination caused by the lipstick, and then the guys appeared in his hallucination.
It
and then when they left him behind, that's when. But that was very confusing to start with. I was trying to figure out, because for a moment I thought it was Rory, and I thought, no, that doesn't look completely like Rory. I mean, it does a little bit, but so that was very confusing to start with.
Yeah, so it could have been that he was hallucinating the field. So, but that's essentially just how she managed to get aboard that spaceship, to find it. To basically to find proof that the angel is there and warn the Doctor about it. So, because she has this deal, she's working with the church to basically stop the angels that are on this planet. So,
I do have one other, and we may have mentioned this before, one other footnote. She talks about how it being Old High Gallifreyan. Here in Oklahoma, over in the eastern part of the state, right on the Arkansas border, there's a little town called Heavener. And in a little valley in the far west side of the Ozark Mountains, in this valley there's a very tall stone, probably about 12 to 15 feet tall, and written about human eyeline area, there were 8 characters, which when they were discovered back in the 1830s, first by the Choctaw and then by the United States Army, nobody could figure out what they were. It was in the 1960s, so 130 years after it was first discovered, a tourist who was going through the valley and came upon this stone went up to the ranger station and said, I think I know what that is. And she said, how can you possibly know that? People have been trying to figure out what it was for, more than a century. He goes, yes, but I'm a cryptologist with the United States Air Force. And although I can't tell you what it says, I think I know what it is. And he says it's literally Viking writing. So he goes back to, I'm guessing he was at Tinker Air Force Base here in central Oklahoma, goes through all of his books, and he originally translated it as a date, November 10th, 1012 AD. And his supposition was somehow a group of Vikings had made their way all the way into Oklahoma right about the time of Leif Erikson's trip to Vinland, the Vinland Saga, the whole works there. Now, there was the story of a ship that was with the Erikson expedition that had set sail south out of Canada and never returned, but it was assumed, like some other ships on that expedition, it had simply sunk because the wood was rotten with worms. But this guy said, what if those Vikings had sailed all the way around Florida, come up the Mississippi River, turned west along the Arkansas River, and south along the Poteau River until they got to this place now called Heavener, and wrote the date, which would again corresponded with Leif Erikson, that this stone, which we now call the Heavener rune stone, was their somehow acknowledgement that they had made it all the way here. Now, the thing is, other than the writing on the stone, there's no other evidence, no helmets, no clothing, no swords, no nothing in eastern Oklahoma that says that the Vikings were actually here. So, long story short, the story goes literally worldwide. Some Viking scholars over in Scandinavia said this couldn't possibly be, nobody sailed before Leif Erikson, nobody from the Vikings sailed before Leif Erikson, so they go over and they look at it, and they literally take one look at it and go, oh, crap. And the guy's like, what? He goes, well, first of all, it's not a date. You are trying to translate it in what is known as the later, I'm going to mispronounce this, I'm sure, the later Futhark writing, and said this is the elder Futhark writing from about 800 AD. And if we were to translate it from the earlier version of that transcription, it would read Glome, Glome, Dal, D-A-L. And they said Dal is a word still used in Scandinavia. It means valley, and obviously the stone's in the valley. But they could find no reference to the word Glome other than it was a man's name. And since there were no Vikings named Glome on the voyage, they thought, well, something's wrong here. But then one of these guys, when he got back to Scandinavia, found a very early version of the word Glome in the Scandinavian language, which meant gloomy. And as you know, because we've been there, this is a very steep-sided valley, and when the sun is not directly overhead, it is a very gloomy valley. So, possibly a Viking with nothing better to do wrote the words gloomy valley on the Heavener runestone sometime before 1830. All right, that's not the total end of the story. The scientists, the historians basically said, although it is obviously Viking writing, it can't possibly be from an actual Viking because there is no recorded evidence of Vikings traveling to the New World before Leif Erikson. Okay. So, as an Oklahoma history teacher, I said, I've got to try to figure out who could have been there. All right, the first time it was seen was by the Choctaws in the 1830. So who lived in that area before the Choctaws? Well, the Choctaws were descendants of another group of what we call the Mississippian culture, called the Caddo. Before the Caddo, there were some mound builders in that area. Again, none of them had any form of writing, so it was not of Native American origin. And then I started to think, well then, who else could have been in that valley at all before 1830? And I began to realize the only people in that valley, other than natives, who would have a system of writing, were trappers. Whether they were French trappers or Scandinavian trappers or English trappers or French trappers, whoever, Spanish trappers. Somebody who was there in that valley, setting up camp, waiting for the natives to bring furs to him so he could then take them down to New Orleans. In my opinion, knew he was going to be there for a couple of months, had taken a couple of books with him to read. He had a book of Viking history. And while he was sitting there in his gloomy valley, he said, you know what? I think I'm going to take the book that has its little alphabet in the back of it and inscribe the words Gloomy Valley here just for fun. And that is possibly the explanation of why there's Viking writing in eastern Oklahoma that dates back 1,200 years.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, that's a long story, and we'll probably edit that out.
I'm not going to edit that out. Why would I? So it was just some prankster, some French prankster that was bored. It was like, this is going to mess with people in 200 years' time.
And there's a parallel kind of story. I read that there's somebody in England who literally went out, as a farmer, went out into his field after reading some books about the Romans and everything, dug up a huge pit, built a replica of a Phoenician outpost. And the Phoenicians, of course, were in the Mediterranean, who were known to have gone out of the Mediterranean and into Portugal and Spain and France and even into England. So he builds this thing, then he covers it back up with dirt, lets sit for 10, 12 years, to get the vegetation right. And then he starts plowing around it, and then he goes to the newspapers and says, "Oh, I've discovered this Phoenician outpost here." And the scientists all came in and went, "Oh, it's a perfect replica," and yada. And so he literally hoaxed everybody into believing that he had discovered this Phoenician fort or port or whatever it was. And there's several other great hoaxes like that in British history. So anyway, you guys who live over there, you'll probably put some details in the comments.
Yeah, so...
So history mind taking over.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing that River does, is that she writes in a language that literally only one man in the entirety of space and time now can possibly read. So, and I mean, I also want to believe it's so old that even the Tardis doesn't bother translating it. I mean, it probably could, since it's also Gallifreyan in origin, but it's just like, no, it doesn't. It looks at that and doesn't translate it for Amy whatsoever. So yeah, 12,000 years just to get his attention. There's no better way for River Song to get the Doctor's attention. So
it's how he keeps scoring.
Well,
I love that both of them said that.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
we should move on. Next episode. Why can I never remember how to get back? Is there a menu button? Oh, I can never remember. Maybe it's this one. Okay, it's not that one. It's this one. It's not that one either. Maybe it's this one. No, it's not that one either. Dang it, I used to have it. I used to have the button.
You can't just X this one out and go to the menu?
No, it's complicated. Come on, you can do it. It worked. Okay, just do this. All right, episode 5.
Alex Kingston still doesn't get above the title?
Nope. Nobody else. Main companion only.
The gravity orientates to the floor. Now, in here, all of you, don't take your eyes off the
I'm always worried about orientates. Why not just orients?
Okay, mate, go. In the dark, we're finished. Run! Oh, wait, there's a death trap! No, it's a time bomb. Well, it's a death trap and a time bomb, but now it's a death trap. Nobody panic. Sir, incoming!
Sir, lights!
They're here. They're posing.
Dr. Song, I've lost good clerics today. You trust this man?
I absolutely trust him.
He's not some kind of madman, then.
Well,
I
wow.
absolutely trust him.
Excuse me.
Good job.
This may be the episode that I think I told you I saw
Maybe.
years ago, one night coming in after a performance that was on the local PBS station. Because I remember him being chased by angels.
Oh.
What's a
Greenhouse.
Oxygen factory.
It's a forest.
Yeah, it's a forest. It's an oxygen factory.
That's what forests are.
Escape route.
Tree forks! Trees! Plus technology!
Tree
Branches become cables, become sensors on the hull of forests.
7.
Why is she counting down?
Stop ominously counting.
soon we'll be able to absorb enough power to consume this vessel, this world and all the stars and worlds beyond.
Well, we've got comfy chairs, did I mention?
We have no need of comfy chairs.
I made him say comfy chairs.
6.
Okay, Bob, enough chat. Here's what I want to know. What have you done to Amy?
So him in this thing, is that the thumbnail for the DVD? All right.
Yeah.
It's hard to put it in your terms, Dr. Song, but as best as I understand it, the angels are laughing.
Laugh?
Because you haven't noticed yet, sir. The doctor in the Tardis hasn't noticed.
Doctor?
No, wait.
It's something
Oh no, the crack is here early!
Not blink.
Yeah. Yeah!
Good and not so good.
Praise be.
This isn't even...
And I'll tell you something else.
Bye.
Never let me talk.
Amy, you need to start trusting me. It's never been more important.
But you don't always tell me the truth.
If I always told you the truth, I wouldn't need you to trust me.
Doctor, the crack in my wall. How can it be here?
I don't know yet, but
Magic.
I'm working it out.
Is it following her or him?
Remember what? Doctor?
Fish fingers and custard.
Doctor?
He hates beans on toast and bacon.
And for those of us who can't read the base code of the universe,
Amy's time.
So, what's happening? Anything happening out there?
The angels are still grouping.
You guys read any good books lately?
Philip, Crispin, need to get a closer look at that.
St. Crispin.
Yeah. Closet!
Dr. Song, get through now. Doctor?
Hold on, I'm drawing circles.
The Cyber King, a giant Cyberman, walks over all of Victorian London and no one even remembers.
Yeah.
Move it, the angels could be here any second.
Never mind the angels. There's worse here than angels.
Oh.
There's only ever been the two of us here.
No, there were 5 of us. Why can't you remember?
Just... I need to get a closer look at that light, whatever it is. Don't worry, I won't get too close.
No.
Are we sure it's not a gaslight?
Here.
Specifically designed to mess with her.
I wish I'd known you better.
I think so. You know me at my best.
Ready?
Oh. He's a hero.
Amy, is that you? Where are you? Are the clerics with you?
They've gone. There was a light, and they walked into the light. Doctor, they didn't even...
So one thing you're not supposed to do.
There are angels round you now.
Oh, this is awkward.
Listen to me. This is all you've got to do is walk like you can see. Just don't open your eyes.
Walk like you can see.
You just sort of walk casually.
You have to do.
Excuse me, gents. Lovely day.
Doctor, I can't find the communicator.
Ugh. Ugh. Ugh.
don't open your eyes.
Good job.
Flight deck, the doctor's here.
Get a grip.
You're not gonna die here.
No, I mean it. River, Amy, get a grip.
No, I mean, literally.
You genius.
Oof.
Like a big mouth closing.
Well, good job.
Octavian said you killed a man.
Yes, I did. A very good man. The best man I've ever known. You'll see me again quite soon. When the Pandorica opens.
Well,
Yeah.
blimey.
I know. This is the same night we left, yeah?
We've been gone 5 minutes.
Wow, he did it.
I'm getting married in the morning.
Ding dong, the bells are going to chime.
About who I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
No.
About who I want.
Oh, right, yeah. No, still not getting it.
Doctor?
Listen to me. I am 907 years old. Do you understand what that means?
It's been a while.
Yeah, no.
No.
I'm 907 and look at me.
And for those of us who can't read the base code of the universe,
It is time.
June 26, 2010.
Yep. The fated day. I wasn't fast enough on that. That's all right.
That's all right.
All right. That is the two-parter. So there is another mini-sode. Here, why don't I go find it? This is the other mini-sode that I told you about.
Yeah.
Oh, screw it. We'll just watch it on here. And that'll be that. We'll probably never do another mini-sode again. So now I just gotta go find a mini-sode. What on earth was it called? Not that one. Not that one. This one, I believe. Let's just go ahead and pop it in. Which is what Amy's trying to do anyway.
I'm 907. After a while, you just can't see it.
Seeing what?
Everything. I look at a star and it's just a big ball of burning gas, and I know how it began, I know how it ends. And I was probably there both times. Now, after a while, everything is just stuff. That's the problem. You make all the space and time in your backyard, and what do you have? A backyard. But you can see it. And when you see it, I see it.
And that's the only reason you took me with you.
So I would just have to say, show me all visual records of previous Tardis inhabitants.
No. I mean voice locked. I would have to say, show me your visual records of previous Tardis inhabitants.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, good job.
No!
And there they are.
Thanks. Thanks, dear. Miss out the Meccan doll, why don't you?
It's not a leather bikini.
Yep.
Right, that's it, Rory. We're going to find Rory, and we're going to find him now.
Is that stag night?
Well then, let's make it a great one.
There you go.
That's too bad they didn't show each one of them.
Yeah.
2 or 3 seconds of. Because some of them I went, who are those?
Yeah. Okay, and now we're back. Now we're back to talking about the two-parter.
All right, so one assumes that the great man that she killed was him. I mean, that's the only logical conclusion. But the crack in time, we have now established, is following Amy for some reason.
Yeah.
Does he know that yet? Has he completely figured that out?
He kind of suspects. I mean, he knows it's following them, but he's just not sure what exactly it's about.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he knows that there's some sort of explosion that happens, something that creates cracks throughout time and space that can unwrite time. So he probably assumes that he's going to be there. I mean, it's like he said in the mini-sode. He knows he can look at his sun. It's a big explosion of plasma and everything. He knows how it starts. He knows how it ends, and he was probably there both times. Yeah. So he knows he's involved, and most likely Amy is involved too. So, this actually was I could have mentioned this a couple episodes ago, but when David Tennant was leaving Doctor Who, there was a little point just before they announced it, I think, where he was talking with Stephen Moffat about what Moffat had planned to do, and there was a part of him, because I think even Moffat was like, well, you could stick around, I could adapt these plans for the 10th Doctor, and he was tempted. He was tempted to kind of play out this season So it would be the 10th Doctor meeting Amy Pond instead of the 11th. So, but he, in the end, he decided to head out. So, and I do know that I think Stephen Moffat actually regrets the ending of these 2 episodes of Amy trying to get with the Doctor. It's like it doesn't fully work of, you know, how she's processing the trauma of facing the Weeping Angels. It doesn't really work as well, but at the same time, this will obviously tie into the next episode.
Yeah.
So yeah. By the way, I mean, still a very good 2-parter.
Yeah.
Overall. So
when it started out, I said brutalist architecture on top of a medieval castle. I didn't realize that was the ship that had crashed, because it looked like someone had built, you know, some kind of new building on top of an old ruin.
Yeah.
But then they explained it, so those of you who might have made a comment, you don't need to do that.
Yeah. So if you did make a comment, then we'll know that you wrote that comment before watching the rest of the episode. So we know. We can track you. And if you have gotten this far, well, this isn't very far in the video anyway. We're at the beginning of the discussion, basically. So I was going to do a thing where you could like put a certain word, but it's not going to work. And all of you guys watch the episode in full anyway. So, anywho. I think the only other sort of negative about the episode is the moment where you see the Weeping Angels move. Because it is one of those things where it's like, honestly, it's just not as creepy when you actually see, even though it's, you know, very slow watching them move, it's just like, it's not as creepy as just the flash and then it's suddenly in a different location. And it also does kind of mess with the, you know, it kind of, I mean, it's kind of a silly thing, but just the idea of like, well, no, even if technically a character is not looking at them, they are still technically quantum locked because the audience is looking at them. So it's like that kind of throws that out. But I don't think they ever show the Weeping Angels moving again. So, and we're gonna have several Weeping Angel episodes in the future. So, but I think that's the only time where we really see them move. So, but yeah.
Now, one of the odd things right there at the end when they were on the beach and there were soldiers around, for a moment I thought, oh, well, because time can be rewritten, that was, you know, Pedro and Christian and Crispin and all the rest of them. And I thought, oh, no, wait a minute. Because then they said that the bishop had died. And I went, oh, well, these are the guys who have come to take River Song back to the prison ship or whatever.
Yeah.
And remind me again, what is the Pandorica?
We don't know.
Oh.
They referenced it in the first episode where the Prisoner Zero said that. It's like, you know, something is coming, the Pandorica will open. So it's just this, it's this thing the Doctor currently doesn't know, other than the Pandorica is a fairy tale throughout space and time. So,
and no doubt that's based on the Greek legend of Pandora opening the box.
Yeah, so yeah, it's all more build up for the pretty much the arc of this season. So this is another season that is widely regarded as one of the best Doctor Who seasons, and certainly, I think I said this before, this is probably Matt Smith's best season. So, not that the other two are bad, but this one, like, everything is sort of firing on all cylinders, and, you know, having that right out the gate with a new Doctor, new showrunner, new everything, it's just like, yeah, this one works really, really well. Yeah. So, and yeah, even this one, you know, because it's like, well, we don't know what the crack is yet. We just know it's a crack in space and time that can unwrite certain aspects of time. But having that be a major crux of this episode, even though we don't know what caused it, what's happening here, is like, it all still works very well in this episode, and really just sort of ties the whole thing together, and it's just a good way of defeating the Weeping Angels, because there's really no other way to do it. Yeah. So, because we can't just make them all look at each other again like we did in Blink. So, there is also a moment I don't think you caught it, but there's a moment when Amy has to stay there and the doctor heads off. There is just like the slightest little continuity error, is that the doctor kind of comes back and he talks to her. You can just vaguely see that he has his jacket on, and he lost that jacket specifically.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, so.
But then again, in the first episode, when Amy was trying to rub the thing out of her eye, I'd never noticed the sand or whatever, the shadow that fell between her fingers.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of action, and I'm going to say I quite honestly like that, when they get too talky and, too science heavy.
Yeah.
You sometimes get lost in that. But for some reason, I don't know why, but I didn't see that until they showed it at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah, so it's just a little continuity error. So, but it is an interesting little thing there. I mean, it is honestly, it just kind of makes you notice that jacket does kind of tie his whole outfit together, but because when it's just the bow tie and then he's got the suspenders, it's like, wow, he looks like a dork. So
that rug really tied it all my furniture together, man.
Yeah. So, yeah. As for the other stuff in the episode, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just the angels are such an interesting idea for and they're so simple too, but they're such an interesting idea for a bad guy, and the fact that this episode also cements it as they are absolutely iconic. Everybody knows what a weeping angel is, and if you say that, everyone knows it's just yep, something where if you look at it, it will just completely stop. As soon as you look away, then it moves, and it's just it's such a great monster design. So,
and it's literally based on an old children's game, red light, green light, that the person who is it turns away from all the other people, and when they say green light, everybody's supposed to move towards them, and then they say red light and turn around. Anybody who's still moving and that they can see moving is then out. So it goes back to literally a childhood game, but childhood fears of you're going to be the one who's caught and get thrown out of the game.
Yeah. So, it's so great. I also love because it's just so simple, and I mean the makeup is very it's very involved makeup that they put onto these actors, and then they stand completely still. But it is very, very simple, and I think I've said this before, that it's almost one of the problems of more recent Doctor Who is that you can really tell that they have a lot of money. And that's actually kind of a bad thing for Doctor Who. No, you guys need less money because you're more creative when you have less money. So, but the angels are definitely up there.
Now, let me ask this, and again, it's not really a spoiler. Do the angels return in Matt Smith's era?
Yes. Okay. Just a couple times.
I said I thought I had seen parts of this episode before, but what I remember is him in a corridor, and the angels literally chasing him down a corridor, but I don't remember seeing the forest or anything like that. And it wasn't that tube that they were trying to get through. This was an actual, gray kind of Star Trek corridor. So, I don't know. But again, I that's a vague memory that I have from somewhere way back.
Yeah, so I can definitely think of 2 Angel episodes with Matt Smith. If I were to guess which one, it would probably be the latter one. So it'll be a little while either way before we get there. But yeah, it could be. I mean, I feel like there was something even I saw of Doctor Who long ago, but I can't remember what it is now. Now the entire show is just blended together in my brain, so I have no idea. But I mean, I'm sure there's stuff, people have seen little clips and they're like, oh, what's that? And then years later they're like, oh, it's that. Okay, I gotcha. So, but yeah. Well, actually, is there anything else really to say with the episode?
No, I don't want to say it was a letdown. I don't think the solution to this story played as well as the setup for the story. I like episode 1 better than this one.
Yeah, well, I mean, the second part leans so heavily into the crack. So is that the fact that, you know, there's still not much known about it. Like we start to learn a little bit more and everything, and the fact that, you know, the angels are all thrown in there. But it even just because the impact is a little lessened, because it's like, well, those angels were, you know, taken out of time, basically. They were unwritten. But Amy and the Doctor still remember them, and River Song remembers them, so it's just like the consequence that we establish about the crack almost doesn't, you know, it's essentially just a button, you know, a thing that gets rid of all the angels, and, you know, they happen to hang on and stuff. The most is that, you know, they set up everything about the gravity, you know, so that goes from the cliffhanger to the beginning of the episode where it's like, well, we jump, you know, I created just a little corridor at the last second, we all jumped and made it to the artificial gravity on the ship, and because the angels drain all the power from the ship, it shuts off the anti-grav and they all just fall down into the crack. So but yeah, it's like it is definitely more, I mean, even just the location shift between episodes. You know, you start off on the beach and then in the caves, and then you go to the ship, which then has the forest of the tree borgs and stuff, and it's like it's a different setting between the two episodes, and a different sort of focus. Like the angels become less of a focus as the second one plays out. So, but yeah, I don't know. But we've got. See, I almost wonder if this discussion is actually shorter than the discussion we had between episodes, just because you had to explain the entirety of the Heavner runestone to the audience. So, I don't know, but I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. We talked enough about this episode, so. Well, I guess that's pretty much it.
I got nothing else.
All right. Then with all of that being said, we're Alex and Dad from 7th Hour Films, and we will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of our modern Doctor Who reactions, as well as another playlist with every Doctor Who video that's on the channel. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.